All right, we're back, and thanks for joining us again. It's still Crossfire with Dakwan Ishoma. Now, the question is it true that no one has the right to ask for President Muhammadu Buhari's whereabouts, especially as it buzzes around his health status? The president has been away for 94 days, and the country has been left without any other thing but assumptions, wondering where the president we elected in 2015 is. Now, the last information we got was that President Muhammadu Buhari will be on a medical treatment or medical vacation in London, yet no words from him or his cabinet on his health status. This has given rise to the current several protests and agitation and chaos on the media as the citizens cry out that he should either resign or return to resume his presidential duties. Now, here is what the former social media director of the PDP, in person of Mr. Adeji Adeyoju, and the personal assistant to the president on social media, Loretta Onoche, has to say about the protest. We will see a very short video, and then we have two gentlemen who will be helping to throw light or more light on the issue based on their perception and their opinion. And at the same time, myself and Ishoma will be joining our thoughts with them. Let's meet our first guest on the show. He's a barrister, he's a social commentator, a political analyst. He's no other person but barrister Ophili Evans. Ophili,
good morning.
Good to have you on Crossfire.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. All right, we have another very interesting guest on the show. Every time when we have hot issues, we bring him to help us, just let us know exactly what he feels about, and then the pulse in the mind of the people out there. Let's meet him also. He's a social commentator, a political analyst. He's no other person but Mr. Alester Wilkos. Alester, good to have you on Crossfire.
Thank you
Very much for having me.
All right, we'll quickly go back into, to seeing a very short video of what entails and a very, very aggressive conversation between this gentleman and this woman. And we'll watch that video with credit to Channels Television, and then we will come back to discuss more about this. Stay with us.
Today, the essence was to make the flag off here in Abuja, because that was the key area, and also, Abuja House in London. A few people showed up at the London venue, and they decided to reconvene because, word did not go out enough. They decided to reconvene for Friday. So for Friday, there's going to be a massive rally at the Abuja House in the UK. And we had initially thought of doing some of the things across Nigeria in some few selected states, and...
For the life of me, I have no idea why anybody would disrespect another by asking for the details of their health status. As we speak, we have an acting president. As we speak, President Buhari seems to be like a private citizen at the moment. No, we have no right. It is very disrespectful for anyone to ask for his health status.
Saying that those who come to equity must come with clean hands. This president, in 2010, when late President Yaradua was sick, he asked for full disclosure
because he did not pass on.
Of the health status of the president.
The President Yaradua did not hand over.
As well.
President Yaradua did not hand over power to the vice president. He did not hand over.
Shehu, please, I think you said I have the floor, right?
Yeah, just in 30 seconds. We are almost out of time, please.
No, you can't be misinforming Nigerians.
He also said
you are misinforming Nigerians, and that is totally bang out of order. You can't misinform Nigerians.
All right, that's a very, very hot one. It's a very hot session and very interesting too.
With valid points.
The gentleman is standing on a very strong opinion, and Mrs. Loretta also is saying something totally different, and you could see that Shehu Okinbaloye actually lost control of, of the conversation at a point, because both of them have very strong reasons, and very, very, very well and strongly opinionated, on the matter. Now, gentlemen, let's look at this, and lady. We have a president who has been away from the country for 94 days. That's well over 3 months. Now, we have a scenario, a situation where the country is divided in terms of opinion and what we feel should be the right position, on this matter. First of all, when the president was going on his medical vacation, he announced before he left, and before leaving, he wrote to the National Assembly telling them, I will be proceeding on a follow-up on my medical treatment in the United Kingdom. And he did the needful, which is constitutionally backed, by writing this letter to the National Assembly informing them and handing over government to his assistant or his deputy in person of Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Now, we have that scenario play out. There is no lacuna in government. That's what a lot of groups are saying. But people are saying at the same time, when you are in the acting capacity, you still don't have the full paraphernalia of office to be able to function as if you are the substantive president in power. Now, on the show today, all we just want to do is to educate and enlighten Nigerians. What exactly do we see? Now, what we're looking at is the president of Nigeria, resign or resume. If you are not going to resume, then resign. But if you know you are not going to resign, it's 94 days gone, then come and resume and take your position. Be it that your health has improved, or you are feeling well, or you are not feeling well, you have been visited by groups of people, and the report we have is that you are in good shape. So why not come back and then do a final recovery back in Nigeria? Will be the opinion of some people. Peradventure, you cannot be well taken care of in Nigeria. You still want to stay back in the United Kingdom to recover fully. Now, Barrister Ophili, my first question to you really is that, do you think there is a constitutional or a legal position on this matter? I mean, the president being away for this number of days, and even though he has handed over to his deputy, and do you think there is, first of all, lacuna in government, and two, do you think the president being away for this number of days is constitutionally okay?
Well, let me share my thought on this.
Okay.
To say that there is no lacuna in government.
Okay.
By the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, the president has complied with. He has done what he ought to do. Okay. The issue is more of a moral one than a legal one.
Okay.
Yes, there is this burden of recovery placed on the president by Nigerians because he is the president of Nigeria, was voted in to function as a president. Now, having said that, his health status, have now stifled his capacity and ability to act the way he should, okay? But if you look at it structurally, by law, he has complied. But you don't expect Nigerians to keep quiet because the president has complied, okay? And let me also state that the acting president in his acting capacity have all the powers and paraphernalia to function as the president, the substantive president, because that's what the law says. Okay. There's nothing the acting president cannot do by law because he is now in the stead, okay? But what Nigerians, you don't expect the whole world to watch Nigerians in docility, to just keep quiet and say, okay, anytime you are ready to come back, come back. People will make certain agitations. It's natural. You understand? Mm-hmm. So in as much as the president's handlers, are trying to defend the position, and Nigerians are also coming out to protest and say, resume or resign. You see, both sides are protecting different interests. You understand? But the primary thing I want to look at in this issue is that moral responsibility that the president owes Nigerians, okay, which made them to, vote him into office, we should not, overlook it. Okay. In as much as he has complied what the law says he has done, He has followed the procedure. He has done everything. But he owed Nigerians on a moral ground this responsibility to be in charge. Now, if you are asking him to come back, I don't think that is very proper if the doctors have not certified him fit. Okay. Look, if you bring him back and he cannot function, what else are you going to do? And if he stays there and refuses to resign, what do you expect Nigerians to do? So people will always agitate. And that responsibility that he owes Nigerians, he must discharge it. Either ways, his handlers must be able to handle. I think what the handlers should be doing is to persuade Nigerians.
To give him more time?
Yes, to persuade Nigerians, not to tell, like Loretta said, that nobody have the right to, ask for the president. The president is a private citizen. That's a very wrong statement.
But there's an issue here, and permit me to come in. Is the president bound by the public service rules?
Of course.
Now, if the president is bound by the public service rule, now PSR 070301 stipulates that an ill public officer who is unable to report for duty should, in writing or such other means of communication, inform the appropriate authority of, number one, his length of absence on basis of the ground of illness. Now, this, although the president did transmit a written document to the National Assembly, but he did not inform them of his length of stay, having to state that his doctors would determine is an aberration of that law. And it's on that basis that we are having these problems. And also, if you also look at PSR 070316, it also stipulates the maximum which a public office holder should stay out of office if he's not hospitalized. That is 42 days. Now, this is well over 42 days. And two, the president did not also transmit stating the nature of the illness. So don't you think this is a breach? And is this justiciable?
Well, you see, these are public service rules, which the Constitution overrides, okay? Because as it stands now, the rules, the Constitution is silent. And if the Constitution is silent on the matter, the particular rules you just cited, okay, the position of the Constitution can be used against it. You understand, as a ground norm. What Nigerians should do is not to focus on the president. Nigerians should focus on the Federal Executive Council. The Constitution made a provision there that if they discover that the president is incapacitated, you understand, then they should come up with the medical team, okay, make formal recommendations and do the needful.
Do a proper certification.
You understand? So when you are protesting, call the Federal Executive Council. Don't call the president. The president is, by the Constitution, the president have nothing to do in this matter because he has played his own role.
All right, let's take Alesta's thoughts on this.
Yeah, thank you so very much. I was on another media yesterday over this same issue, and the question I asked was the protest or the demand. Is it legal?
Yeah, we're coming back to the protest issue.
Is it legal? Yeah. Because I was on stage with one of the chief protester of the protest. I asked, is it legal or moral? And I thank God he answered in the affirmative, moral. And my brother here has also said moral. And of course, moral is not justiciable. Moral is what you persuade somebody to do. Exactly. And it's not something you come to the street and force somebody to do. It's moral. Yep. And if the moral obligation is on both parties. Now, if you want this man to show your own definition of moral, you also have a responsibility to show your own definition of moral. Do you have a moral to begin to castigate somebody that is ill? Is there no morality?
Is there any moral justification
for you to come on stage on the and a man that is going through distress on account of ill health, which even you, a toothache, can make you do you have that moral standing? You want him to display morality because in your own opinion,
no, come to think of it.
I'm going that one. Now, I watched the Adeyanju and the Loretta issue on Sunday. What comes to my mind? Adeyanju is speaking because of his bias as a PDP member.
Correct.
Loretta is speaking because of her bias as somebody who has her bread being buttered. Yes. So you can understand where they're coming from. But again, you must decide through what they are saying. Is there legal issues? Because for me, the only thing that can make you come on the street to protest, to say it's when there's something, it's legal. When something is your right, that somebody is not discharging, then you can come up. Like my brother always quotes section, is it where the government has a responsibility to...
Section 14, sub 2.
Where the purpose of government is this and that. So if there is no electricity, if there is bad road, if there is, then you come up and protest. If somebody in government has stolen money and that is legal issue that you have a right on. Now, a man has discharged the responsibility placed on him by the Constitution, fully discharged. And he has left the scene. He's still the president of Nigeria, but somebody is now acting on his stead. There must be that consultation, because if you are acting, you are acting. And the Constitution recognizes that. There must be consultation once in a while. Sir, can I do this? This is what I want to do. How do you feel about it? Because at the end of the day, he's still the president of Nigeria. He will still come back. The man is not incapacitated. He's just ill. So now, if we have gone to that level, so everyone must also embrace that morality that you want somebody to exhibit. Do you have the man just going to go and be talking about somebody's health? Now we keep talking, we don't know what is wrong with him. We don't know what is wrong with him. For goodness sake, there's also a moral question there. Must you know what is wrong with somebody that is ill for you to show empathy, for you to pray for the person, for you to wish him well? Let's not forget in a hurry that this whole issue of Buhari health or no health has flown from the time of the election. And persons are happy and making a miss, talking about Ayo Fayose, who is their ringleader in this wicked and demonic enterprise. And they are all happy to see that, to get this news more and more. He boasted that he has a loving picture of the man being in coma and all whatnot. And these moral issues. Don't they also have moral issues? To know that health and wellness of human being is their personal responsibility.
But as a public office holder,
he has discharged what the Constitution places on. And let me refer to what you are saying. What you quoted was the civil service rule.
It's still
civil service rule.
Which bans public office holders. It does ban public office holders.
Civil service rule are for those employed and have a term
I
of...
quoted the public service.
Yeah, but the president is the number one civil servant.
The president is number one civil servant.
No, it's a civil servant. It's a civil servant.
He's a political
civil servant.
That man is bounded by certain rules.
He is a civil servant.
By certain rules. He's not bounded by civil service rule. Because he has a fixed tenure of 4 years.
He's a civil servant. He's a civil servant.
You cannot call senators civil servants because they are all they are political leaders elected. A civil servant is appointed and subjected to the rules of the
because they have a tenure. But for a typical civil servant, is either 30 years in service or 65 years
of age.
No, but
it depends on the systematic you're using. They are public servants.
They are public servants. Okay. They are public servants, elected officials.
Like I said,
they're not banded.
Like I said before, it is not totally right to say Nigerians don't have a right to ask for their president. It's not. Because, like I said, even though it is moral, okay, I mean, he has a mandate. Exactly. Do you understand? The mandate, the people who, if not for the people, won't be there.
Exactly.
And if the people want to see him, you know, no matter, you can condemn their method, you can condemn their strategy. If there is hate in their method and their strategy, you can condemn that.
That's what I'm condemning.
But that the people don't have a right to place demand.
Right.
No, they do.
The people have a right. So Nigerians should know this.
Let's structure it.
That right is inalienable right.
Yes.
For me to even ask that, what is wrong with you? It's inalienable right. For me to say what is wrong with Mr. President is a right. But the method you are playing, when hate, when deception, when politics, when tribe, religion is mixed with it, then some of us will stand on the path of truth. And we are not ashamed and we're not ready to shift our position because we know the underlying factor of what is at the brink of it all. The president has 4 years mandate that you're giving him. You have a right after 4 years to throw him away.
But then the president is currently being treated. The president is currently being treated on taxpayers' money.
It doesn't matter, even if he's not the president today. Even if President Muhammad Buhari is no longer a president today. If President Muhammad Buhari stops to be a president of Nigeria today, he will remain, as far as the law is concerned, he will remain on taxpayers' bill. Any Shonika that served us for 81 days is on taxpayers' bill till tomorrow.
Yes.
Till his last wife dies, That is what the law says. So that taxpayer bill is neither here nor there. It is what the law provides for a public officer, rank of a president. He has been enjoying that privilege even before he was elected. So that is
where accountability.
That's an issue. So even if today he's not being a president, you will still foot his medical bill.
Now,
that's what the law says.
Now, another very important thing, having established the fact that, okay, even though Barrister Ophilie is of the opinion that we have the rights, that the people have a right to ask. It's just like an employer to an employee.
I agree.
If an employee is not feeling fine, it is not enough for you to inform your HR to say, I am not feeling fine.
I agree.
After a certain time, your human resource department have a right to say, what exactly is wrong with you? Exactly. We need a medical report to show that this is the reason why you have not been able to resume back and all of that. So they have a right to find out whatever it is. Now, my point is this. We keep saying that there is that the vice president or acting president Yemi Osinbajo have the full capacity of the office to be able to function. But at the same time, we have heard, in a couple of quarters, saying that the reason why some certain things are not happening at the moment is because President Muhammadu Buhari is not here. That is because he's not in office. And as a matter
of like what and what? Okay,
for instance, you would have expected when we had a delay in the signing of the 2016-17 appropriation bill. It was like, okay, we need to make some consultation before the vice president will sign off on it. And there was a very long delay before eventually it was signed. We had instances where we had some officers or some issues that were bordering around Ibrahim Magu. And it became really very clear that because the president has not said something, the vice president kept quiet until there is a further directive on what action to be taken. So it simply means the vice president is still doing a lot of consultation before he can even perform some statutory responsibilities and duties of the office, which ordinarily would have been speedily done or otherwise if the president were supposed to be on ground. Now, we are saying that people are beginning to liken what happened to late President Yar'Adua during the PDP reign, and is not being able to hand over, is not handing over to the incumbent president that time, or the deputy, the vice president that time, in person of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, the point is that these two instances are not similar. Hello, gentlemen.
They are not similar.
Okay.
There's a difference.
I want to say that what Nigerians should understand is that, as a matter of fact, and jurisprudentially speaking, it has become imperative, by reasons of clarity and elucidation, for us to know that the position of the president and the acting president right now is a joint ticket, okay?
That's true.
And if the president is not, you don't expect, there must be a nexus, no matter how ill the president is, there must be a nexus between the decisions of the acting president and the substantive president. Otherwise, you have usurpation
exactly.
of authority and power.
You can claim that the acting president is ambitious. If care is not taken.
Even though power was transmitted, you should also understand that in the presidency, there is a kind of, based on the appointments in the presidency, certain people have certain interests, independent of the president's aspirations. And Lester used to say that the people who enjoy the government of today are people who did not work for this government. There are a lot of people in the presidency who ordinarily would not want the acting president to do certain things, even though the law has empowered him to do so. So those interests, those ethnic biases, those controversies of people around Nigerians who we rather bank on ethnic division and all that, they too, they have their own way of creating certain problems for the acting president. At a point, those people and Nigerians almost created enmity between the acting president and the president because they said he's now outshining the president. And these people took it, entrenched it to a point where the acting president was even forced to make certain statements like, the president treat me like his son and all that, just to recolorate the atmosphere. Because it's quite rare. This is the first time somebody transmits power and somebody is away and could not make it back quick. You understand? So those interests and influence is the one that makes it look like these delays will happen. I know if things are happening for the first time, you always have a teething problem. Okay, now he has signed the bill, okay? He's functioning in his full capacity. There's no other thing he cannot do. He's commanding the army. He's virtually everything the president can do, he's doing them. Okay? So let's allow this thing to flow. Nigerians should not bring enmity between the acting president and the president, because that is one thing I see that is playing out. The acting president have the full capacity by law to discharge the function of office as the president would have done if the president was here.
Okay, don't you think, Alexa, that it is apolitical, that at the moment we still don't have any information in the public domain to tell us about the status of Mr. President's health? If really and truly we all agree that on moral grounds, we have a right to know exactly what is wrong. In other climes and climates, when presidents of nations are not feeling fine, information are made available. The press are even allowed to go to the extent of getting close to the hospital where the president is lying or is being treated, to know exactly if he's doing well or he's not doing well and all of that. Don't you think that there's a clout
we can play the devil's advocate
of a political coverage of whatever is happening to our president?
You can play the devil's advocate.
I'll take your comment, Alesta, but we'll quickly go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on this conversation. Do join us again. All right, we are back, and thanks for joining us again. It's still Crossfire with Dapo and Isioma. I have Barrister Ophelie Evans in the studio and Mr. Alester Wilcox. And we've been discussing about President Muhammadu Buhari, resume or resign. And that's based on the status, the current status of the president's ill health. He's still there in the United Kingdom. Nobody knows exactly what the state of of the president's health is. And gentlemen,
we're talking about the either being apolitical or not. I think yes. You see, everybody has, because we run a very, very terrible political culture here. After elections in other climes, governance takes place. Even right now in the US, they had one of the most acrimonious election with Trump and Clinton. But you discover that even right now, most of the main opposition is among the Republicans.
Exactly.
You know, not even the Democrats any longer. Democrats are trying to rebuild their party and see how they can get along and make a better success. But in Nigeria, we carried politics into governance, and from day one, oh, Buhari is sick, he's sick. Oh, this and that, that and this and that. And so, even when issues are happening, you see that people are happy. And that is why I am of the opinion that this whole thing, disclose or not disclose, is simply apolitical. And I don't think President Muhammadu Buhari should dance to the tunes of those who do not wish him well. Now, those who really voted for this president may not just bother. I don't bother.
I seem to disagree. I believe that Nigerians should know. I believe that the Nigerians should know the status of the president.
I believe Nigerians should know. The reason is because
I'm coming. I do not believe that Nigerians should force themselves to know.
No, we're just asking. It's not a forcing.
If you ask me a question, I have a right to tell you, because as a matter of fact, that President Muhammadu Buhari is a public officer elected by the public, has also a right to privacy. People are saying, no, there's nothing private about him. Are you saying that when the president wants to have his bath, he should do it in the open? Or when he wants to be in the other room, he should do it in the open? Or what?
That's quite different.
That is not different. Somebody's health. Somebody's health. In this our black country, health is very, very thing that people includes getting secret. And I'll tell you, people always say abroad. What happens? I told you, I listed yesterday 11 American presidents. We don't use America. That they are heavily sick in office. In fact, the one that drew from 1913 to 1918 was out of sight for 1 whole year. That was even why the amendment came about that of transfer of power to the vice president. Out of sight for 1 whole year. So it's not strange. Abdul Bouteflika of Algeria, he's been on a wheelchair since 2013. I'm not saying it is right, but these are not strange phenomenon. Even before the late Ghanaian president died, so, may God bless his soul, he was out of office for quite a long time, and Ghana was running. The mischief in Nigeria is too much. Look, you are right to know, and also the other man's right to preserve certain information of himself must be intertwined. And so, if you are right to know and his right to keep are also two rights that must be harmonized. Your own is moral. He has the legal obligation. He too has a moral. You too have a moral. So everybody must exhibit morality, excuse me, in this matter, so that we don't overheat the polity. Like Ophelia said, Nigeria is run. There's no lacuna in governance. The economy is picking up. People are seeing signs of recoveries here and there. The government is commissioning the largest rice mill ever in Africa. It's been done under this mission. The country is no longer borrowing money to pay salaries of
largest fertilizer plant too was commissioned a few weeks ago.
Sorry, of civil servants. I didn't even get that. And so, why are we not looking at the positives? That this Shubajo, that this presidency, as today presented by the acting president and the vice president, is moving the country and trying to deliver on the promises that the APC government is giving to them. Now, challenge them on policies. Challenge them on achievements. Challenge them on issues that should border areas. Today, we're having Lassa fever, and I've not had the Minister of Health make a statement.
Address it.
These are the issues that we should challenge people on.
Yeah,
unlike before.
Let me say that in as much as the sympathizers of this government or the APC government would want Nigerians not to question too much, I think that questioning the president's health, the status, and all that is a very healthy development for democracy. Okay. Because this is a government that almost silenced opposition. You understand? Before now, you discover that there was no...
Will you want to give instances?
There was no opposition. You look at it now. I mean, Olisametu was almost crushed. But that
was on the basis of
as a result of
are you justifying?
Wait, let me respond now. As that and the arrows and shots against him was tied to the skeleton in his cupboard. Which is also okay. It's okay.
And he still wants what I'm saying, he still wants the great man himself to be a witness for him in court.
Yeah. So now what I'm saying is, in as much as we could say okay, it was also okay, it was right because it's a piece of corruption. But what I'm heading at is that at some point opposition was non-existent because the PDP. Because the PDP 16 years. The PDP in 16 years depleted Nigeria. So part of the reason why they could not speak was also because of the fact that they were guilty of whatever the mess we are in. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that Nigerians, okay, because if you look at the laws, the essence of government is the people. Exactly. Our politicians don't know this. Section 14, anywhere I go, Section 14, subsection 2B.
This is the first class material.
The security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government.
Exactly.
That sovereignty belongs to the people, through which government derive her legitimacy. That is the constitution. You understand? But this government don't know that. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that Nigerians have the right to ask what is the health status of the president they elected.
So why are they not telling us?
No, they are not telling us.
Why are they not telling us?
Look at it now.
The National Assembly is not speaking. The Federal Executive Council, they are not saying anything.
Yes, they are not.
And now people are left to want to ask in the best form.
No, they are not telling us. They are saying Nigerians are complaining about the health of the president, that they are hitting up, Nigerians are hitting up the polity. I beg to disagree. Their refusal to disclose. Their refusal to disclose the health status of the president is what is hitting up the polity. Not Nigerians who are asking.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Because if they have disclosed it,
let me ask you now.
If they have disclosed it,
now after disclosing,
yes.
what else?
After disclosing, let me tell you what will happen.
Next?
By that time, if, for example, two things are
And then you
likely
will
to
see
happen.
caricature cartoons.
No!
You will
the
see,
president...
do you know,
that is part of
do you know how many
democracy.
caricatures
Yes.
about the president?
That's
of the
part
of
of
Nigeria?
democracy.
Do you, I mean, young men that should use their brain to want to be like Mark Zuckerberg and all whatnot, and use their brain to design the obituary of a living man, all in the name of tribalism and politics.
Now, I know that, Alessa, I know you're a Buharist. I know you're a Buharist.
I am moralist. Look,
Yes.
even when Yar'Adua was sick,
Yes.
I was the last person that talked about Yar'Adua's illness because I know the implication of what you do.
Yeah.
Even when how can anybody have a challenge in terms of what is natural?
Now,
Everybody
don't you think, now, Alessa, don't you think we stand
And then you are talking about morality.
No, hold on.
And then you are
don't
not
you
showing morality.
think, Barrister, don't you think we have a chance to have a repetition of the issues that surrounded the death of President Yar'Adua
Quite different
a few years ago?
Different issues.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
are not
what
very
Onoche
sure
was saying.
whether power should be
But power has been
should
transmitted
be given.
He is not
automatically.
incapacitated. That point. He is not incapacitated.
How would you know? How would you know?
The Archbishop of Canterbury visited him the other day.
How would you know?
saw him. No,
those are pictures. Now,
He saw captures that the press in the United Kingdom do not even have information.
He went to visit the Canterbury, the Archbishop of Canterbury earlier on before, even when he came new. We saw the pictures in the not pictures. We saw the video. I'm coming, sir. Let me just tie this in. He went to visit the Archbishop of Canterbury. We saw that. Now the man after the Jamboree visit, which I condemn, those visits are quite unnecessary. They are useless as anything.
From the governors?
Those governors that went to visit, as far as it's unnecessary. You don't need to
We can't even have a video.
You don't need to please and fire shade because he runs his
We
matter.
don't even have a video.
I don't think that was. If that was, if that
We
was
have only photographs.
If that was to please and fire shade,
You have left us to assumptions.
That's why Nigerians are agitating.
If that was to please and fire shade, then I think it was wrong, it was immoral to want to please a man that does not see that is interested.
It's not about pleasing him. It's about answering the questions Nigerians are asking.
The Archbishop still went back to visit him, and they all had a good discussion.
Yeah.
What we should be doing at this point in time in our national life is concentrate on governance. Buhari is just one individual. For goodness sake, this man is 74 years old, and he has achieved everything he could achieve. He is a successful man to the core. He has achieved everything from the military, from everything.
I think you have since forgotten that Osinbajo actually rode on the shadows of President Muhammadu Buhari.
That's what I said, the man
what we voted for was President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. And we need him to be on seat to take us to that point. I'm telling you.
He must be on seat.
The Redeemed Christian Church community voted for that ticket because of Osinbajo.
Not
These are people that
again is subjective.
hated this man.
That's subjective because
hated this man's passion.
your religion is not written in the ballot paper. Nigerians voted, not redeemed. Nigerians voted.
You are bringing that in. No, you are bringing that in.
Gentlemen,
you are bringing that in.
Nigerians voted, not redeemed. I was going to talk about the protest. I don't know whether you have plans to talk about the protest. Because what happened during the protest, the IG, instructing the police to go and intercept.
Condemnable. I condemn it totally.
Intercept people who are protesting. I mean, for Christ's sake, the IG have a lot of scandals in his head already. Promotion scandal, this, there, and all that. Policemen are not working as they should. There's roadblock everywhere if you are traveling. And all the police are on the road. The ones posted do not have uniforms. The ones with uniforms do not have food. The ones with food do not have boots.
Shoes,
the police barracks are in shambles. The police college is a joke. He has so much in his head. Okay, now, when you ask policemen to go after, people who are exercising their civic responsibility, they have a right to gather and assemble so long as it's peaceful. And, going there to make excuse that hoodlums have hijacked it or hoodlums are planning to hijack it, therefore you have to use tear gas on Nigerians and all that. I think I'm using this opportunity to call on the IG that this is quite very wrong. He should call himself to order. You understand? Because, the government is protecting, the essence of it is the people. Yeah. And if you begin to, store the people, coerce them, silence them, because you just want to appear like someone who is supporting the government of the day, that for me is totally wrong. Our policemen need to understand that the right of the citizen is very critical. Because the officers treat Nigerians shabbily. The senior ones, the juniors on the street who are the foot soldiers enforcing the law. The responsibility of the policeman is one, to protect lives and property, to enforce laws, okay? You know, but where the police turn that around, you know, to use the same uniform with taxpayers' money and all that, to work against the people.
Let me puncture this argument, Barry Southily. This is it. You have, Nigerians have a right to peaceful protest.
Yes.
There are laws guiding if you want to have a protest. Inform the Nigerian police.
There's no law. There's no.
You can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. Now, this is the point.
You don't. You don't need to.
This is my question. Wait. Can you hold on? This is my question. Now, my question is.
You don't have to.
How do you know? How would you be able to, if the police does not use whatever force in their power to disperse an irate crowd, or to ensure that a supposed peaceful protest is not hijacked by miscreants? How do you expect police not to do
the responsibility of the police? They can be there to protect lives and properties.
Even when miscreants are hijacking the protest?
We saw the protest now. There was no miscreant. When you say miscreant, who exactly? Is it Charlie Boyd as a miscreant?
Always use this.
Or is it the people who assembled? They were just few?
Yes, they came up to say the second day, they saw that miscreants were already...
Who are the miscreants?
It's an excuse just to do what they want to do.
Miscreants. For me, I think the police is not helping the image of themselves and the president that they think they are trying to protect.
At all.
Look, the demonstration is people's right. I agree with that the police should not be informed. I think the Supreme Court,
by law,
the Court of Appeal says they should inform, not permission. Yeah. Now, what the police say permission? I think the court says inform.
You can inform. Yeah, of course, you can inform.
The Nigerian police is talking about taking permission.
No, you can't take permission.
Permission is not.
That one has been annulled. But for you to say
the constitution is clear.
No matter what you want to press about, stupid, irresponsible, mundane, real, constitutional, emotional, please just go there and protest. Allow them. Unity fountain, call unity fountain. Let them stay there and shout. When they're tired, so long as there is no breakdown of law and order. But you see, the police can always say miscreant. Please, I don't want creating the miscreants. Okay. Or they don't want miscreants to finish
because of time. So that I need to take your comment on this so that we can go. For how long should Nigerians wait to see the president come back, either to resume or to resign? For how long?
The civil service rule, if we want to follow Sioma, says you can be sick for 90 days with full pay, another 3 months with half pay, and then a medical board can be set up. That doesn't even apply to the president. But even if that should be the pattern that should be taken, then the president still have a leeway of 90 days. Under 90 days. Because he's even any half salary as far as for now he's been any, but that is not where I'm going. Okay. Nigerians should devote themselves in praying for the good health of the president. Okay. Show some act of kindness. Kindness or care have a ripple effect because they never can tell whose turn it will be.
All right, Barry Southily, your last one.
There are two spectrum of people making agitation.
Okay.
There is the part that is fueled by opposition, the PDP government, who, even if the president returns, they will look for another thing to, which is natural because
they have to stand in opposition.
Yes, you understand. And there are ordinary Nigerians also who do not even sympathize with the PDP because they disappointed Nigerians who also are placing demand on the president to return.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.